How the fuck are you guys still friends after all these years?
You guys
It
are
makes
Well,
no
we
sense.
formed our own tribe, the Chickasaw Suck-a-Dick Indian Nation. We was formed, and then, we were our own.
No, but we've been friends since then. Played Little League Little League baseball, and we became friends. And he had this tooth. He only had a half a tooth, right? And I go, what happened? And he said, my brother shot it out with a BB gun. And I went, oh man, I think I'm gonna be friends with you, And then since we're 10, we've been best of friends and went through high school. I didn't go through middle school with him because I went to a Catholic school, And
You went to Catholic school?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I know.
I'm picturing this.
I don't know. I guess the priest didn't find me attractive because nothing ever happened to me. I swear.
Maybe you heard about the two-incher.
I was an
Pat
altar
Patterson
boy.
did though, right?
I did get the magic wand, which was you bend over and he whaps you with this paddle.
Oh my
You
God.
thought it was a paddle.
Yeah.
Little did
Who
you
knows
know.
what was happening?
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Slap. Hey, oh
Before we
boy.
got that, I'd sneak in and get some of the wine that we were going to use for the. No, I'm only kidding.
How'd you guys come up with the idea to be pro wrestlers?
We didn't.
You didn't.
No, it just came to us. We
Okay.
had no fucking choice.
Well, he got the kind of he had a scholarship to go play college ball. He had to get his grades up. He went to a junior college, and while he was there, he hit the hall monitor overhead with a keg of beer. What? So that I don't know why. Or
While he was
how.
getting his grades up, he hit the hall monitor with a keg
Yeah,
of
well, during where they were at their fraternity there or dorm, and then I was in the Army, and was in for about 2-3 years, and then they had a weight thing, and I was 210 pounds, and I had to be 208. So I come home, and he's already getting shit canned out of the college thing, and he goes, "Do you like it in there?" I said, well, not really anymore. My two buddies that were in already had left. They're the ones that got me in, Lorenzo and Hoots. And all of a sudden, he goes, well, I said, well, they got me on this weight thing. If I don't lose the weight, they said they're, honorable discharge. But at the time, they were really thinking on the weight. So we proceeded to eat 30, 40 cheeseburgers a piece of McDonald's. I was home for a 30-day leave. I came back at like 250, and they freaked out. And they said, Drizovich, you got a month to lose it. You're out of here. And I said, okay, whatever. And I couldn't lose that much in that amount of time. Got an honorable discharge and everything. But the real crazy thing was, this is the 80s now, 1981, 82. Go from there, 2009 or 2010, Jimmy Hart asked me, and it was me, Greg the Hammer, Jimmy, and Jimmy got the thing set up, and two divas, SoCal Val and Brooks. Is it Kelly Brooks? She was in TNA.
Okay.
But anyway, we all went over, and we were there for 31 days in Iraq, and we were gone from in the morning. We'd leave, spend 4 hours at each base. And it was a great thing to see, and the soldiers were so happy, and for me to give back, and I was already in there, but to see how our soldiers were treated over there, and they're playing the Kardashians over here, and not even showing what our troops were going through. It was an eye-opening experience.
So
but
you
the
got to
thing
come
was,
full circle, kind of. You got to go from being in the Army to wrestling in front of the Army.
But my good old friend Jimmy Hart kind of slid one by me because he knows I like beer. He goes, "Don't worry, Knobs. They have beer on the base. It's a Muslim country. There ain't no alcohol there."
Right.
But then I found out, they got it. Some of the Army guys knew the deals and that. But it was a real good experience to go back there, and we had a great time.
Okay, tell them why you're telling the story. You met your sergeant there. That's why you started it. Can you get to the point? You're just rambling on here.
So anyway,
What the fuck is he doing?
Definitely a tag team.
I walk in though, but we're in the chow hall in Mosul, Iraq, and the black guy, and I said, "Hey, you reminded me of LT," and I'm going, "You remind me of Lawrence Taylor," So then we sat with the troops, and he was there as a civilian. So he came over. He says, "Hey, come sit with mine." And he started this wrap up, and I said, your last name ain't Barry, is it? He goes, how do you know that? I said, Sergeant Barry, it was my battery commander from Fort Hood, Texas. Yes. And I didn't see him. 26 years later, I see him in Missoula, Iraq. So that night when we're signing for all the troops, he stood right next to me, and he was like a drill sergeant. This is my soldier. I trained him. He became a pro wrestler. He was so happy and everything like that. Gave me his number, and still in touch with him today yet, you know. Sergeant Barry, yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
Sags, I wanted to ask you, Sags, how do you guys keep a relationship so strong after all this time?
You mean me and Knobs?
What? Yeah, Knobs.
What relationship?
Well, I want to ask you though. How do you guys keep so tight?
You and
after all
Knobs.
these years?
Well, it's part of being growing up together and tag team together. You know, it's like a ongoing thing with your friends for life. Our grandfathers partied together, worked at cement mills together. They drove Harleys together back in the 30s and 40s when all that kind of stuff.
But your parents didn't pair you guys up. You just met in the playground?
No, I actually was tried out for baseball down in my neighborhood, and they cut me, and I came home and was pissed off, and because my old man would tell me, take your fucking glove and your thing, you go up and prove yourself up there. You know what I mean? All the other kids had their dads out there up the coach's ass and all that stuff, you know. So which kid gets cut? Oh, get out of here. I was pissed.
Okay.
So the next thing, one of our neighbors, they need Styles up there. It's hockey and Styles. They need kids on the team. I go on this team, and who do I meet but him? And then a bunch of other friends are lifelong friends too. So I'm on this baseball team, and he takes me home. He takes me home to his house, an old farmhouse up in Stiles, Pennsylvania, which is we grew up in Whitehall, outside Allentown. We're close to here. Got a couple out, due west, but go home and hey, his Grammy's cooking something in the kitchen, and he goes, hey, Grammy, this is Sagsy. And she, a weird look at me. She goes, Sags? Like Saganovich? Because we're Polish. Mm-hmm. And she goes, are you Stevie Saganovich's grandson? I went, yeah. And a big smile came up on her face.
Okay.
And here we met, but she was good friends with my grandfather. He's Jan Drizovich, I'm Saganovich. And it reminded me that his grandpa was crazy like him. He hit a pole doing like 60, 70 with the Harley, the old K models,
Yeah.
And then he was loaded up and hauling ass, and that's how he died young. And his Grammy had to raise the family.
Yeah.
He was fucking crazy like we are.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like almost certain things are meant to be.
Just meant to be.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like somebody put us
it.
together there, at that point in life.
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest was history, And we there's three or fuck offs in high school and fighting, and then we both kicked. I get kicked out of college. He gets kicked out of the army. Now we're fighting again, and beers and boozing and fucking up, and they're like, you guys need, a bunch of our friends, local cops. Matt Millen, our good buddy, played for the Raiders, and listen, everybody, you guys got to get the fuck out of here. Why don't you do that? You're fighting all the time anyway. Go into that wrestling or something. That's when we started chasing down, for some reason, the guy that we were going to look for information about wrestling is a guy eating turnbuckles and going, George Steele.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So I lived 2 miles from Mag Hall.
Okay.
Where they taped WWF, the old Vince McMahon Sr. taped television with George Steele, Gorilla Monsoon, Andre, Ringer's Roost, the bar across the street. All the guys would sit there and drink, then go over and shoot TV. That's where, the thing was there. That's where Snuka hit, Piper hit Snuka with the coconut.
Yeah,
was at Hamburg.
Yeah.
There you go.
They'd shoot in Allentown and Hamburg.
Right.
And then on a mile and a half from my house, the George Washington Motor Lodge.
Yeah.
That's the GW, where it's where all the guys would stay that coming into town, right on Route 22, 78, that shoots over to New York, and this was the territory,
Right.
So, we wake at first. My mind as a kid waking up on Saturday mornings, and you see Roddy on there, and he's doing his shtick, you know, Piper draw your face right to the fucking tube, you know, and you're like, what's this shit, you know?
Right.
But they're like, so we started following around, chasing George around, driving him crazy, fucking knocking on his door. That thing if I got the times, George chased us, coming with the green tongue. He still have it from the show.
Yeah.
The tongue was green. Yee, and you go into his gimmick, and me and Knobs, running down the aisles of George Washington. He chases us down the fucking block. I'm tired of you two.
What made you guys select George Steele?
I don't know. We just we go. That guy's George.
You picked the craziest guy.
Right.
But
At least on camera.
But our good friend was manager of the place of the Quality Inn across the street where George was staying.
Okay.
He was staying at George Washington, and he became friends with George.
Okay.
And he goes, I got these two guys, but it was Matt Millen, who, 4 Super Bowl rings,
Matt
Oakland
Millen.
Raiders, San Francisco, Washington.
But wait a minute.
I mean,
You
he's the one that
want to hear
actually
a better?
told us, he just said, let me talk a minute. Jesus, big mouth.
Hide the foreign objects.
Anyway,
Well, you're the one that interrupted. He interrupted me.
He looked at us, and told us, you guys are screwing up, and if you don't straighten up, you're probably gonna be thrown in jail. He said one of these days it's gonna catch up to you.
Okay.
He says, why don't you guys try that pro wrestling? You like it, and then he's the one that really gave us a thing to say, oh, let's go after it, and then. That's when we went after George, after Matt called us to his house. So we really respected Matt. He's playing for the pros, and he gave us a real good speech and got us to where we're at,
Is he finished now?
Yeah,
with
go ahead.
With his,
You have the floor.
I thought he was, Edgar Allan Poe writing the fucking long, this 300 episode Bible or something. I don't know. But anyway, funnier story. Who we met first was Gorilla Monsoon.
Okay.
So Joe McHugh was the old announcer. Remember Joe McHugh? He was a local guy, and he knew from athletics or my names and all that kind of stuff. So Joe McHugh goes, come down, and I'll introduce you to Gorilla. And so we walk in, me and him. This is maybe 82. And they go, and here Gorilla stands up with a big smile on his face. So, you guys want to get in the wrestling business? We go, yes, sir, we do. Let me give you a number. He writes down a number and gives it to us. We go, thank you so much. And they just call, and we go home. Now we go home, and we're like, are you going to call or the number? Well, let's wait till tomorrow to call the number. And we're going back and forth about the number and the number. And who's going to call the number? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but George Steele called me.
No, wait a minute. And so we finally go, all right, Knobs gets on the phone and calls the number. It was like I think the number was 8675302. You know the song.
He gave you Jenny's
Jenny's
number.
8675309.
You might have gotten Tommy Two-Tone.
But that was the first rib ever pulled on us. And we waited. We were anxious about calling the fucking number and waited for a couple days. All right, we're gonna call. And it was a number. It's a fake number.
Wow.
Gorilla was probably back pissing his pants. These fucking two idiots with this number.
But we bugged George Steele so much that he said, come meet us at the Quality Inn. And he had Snuka, Paul Orndorff, and Bob Orton Jr. to stretch us.
No, Sheik.
And the Sheik at the
when these guys walk in,
and he's working.
Jump them.
Well, he's
we were going to get our ass
working,
kicked.
and I'm working, and I said, sorry, Mr. Steele, but we're both working. We love to make it, this and that. He goes, well, if you guys are serious, he said, you'll go to Vern Gagne's camp. Yeah. That'll either make you or break you. Up in Minnesota, and at the time he had to write a resume and everything, and Matt was one of our references, and Brad was teaching the camp, Brad Reagans, who was an Olympic champion.
Right.
He won the bronze medal. He probably would have won the gold in 80, but they boycotted it because he beat the Russian in the World Games in 79, and the ring didn't even get set up for 3 months. We were on Olympic mats getting tossed around like feathers. He threw Leon White after Leon got out playing for the Rams, and Leon was like 380 pounds. He suplexed him right through the shower in the back, and we lived on the